Hey everybody, I'm sure that y'all have heard about our Low Country Ball. I was on TV with my cooking shows for what, 12, 14 years, something like that, Teresa?
Yes, ma'am.
So I know I've done a Low Country Ball over the years. And that's something that we do, like if our family, if all of our kids and spouses and children come, we have around 21 or 22 people. So it's a great recipe to feed a crowd. But I have had a request to make a Low Country Ball for 2. So that's what I'm gonna do, and it's so simple because there's not a whole lot of measuring to this. I'm gonna use 4 potatoes, 4 red potatoes, and I'm gonna leave them whole. And I'm gonna put enough water just to cover up my corn, my sausage, my corn. I think I pointed to something else. My corn, my shrimp, my sausage, and my potatoes.
Well, tell them where Low Country Boil came from, Paula, because some people may not. I can't imagine, but maybe you have.
The Low Country Ball actually started where? Help me remember, Teresa.
In the Low Country?
Yeah, in the Low Country. Did it actually start around Beaufort or
I think in the Bluffton, Beaufort area.
That's where I was thinking. And how this dish came about was because we have the most wonderful wild Georgia shrimp in the world. So any dish that you could come up with using shrimp was a good one. You help me, refresh me, Teresa, on the story of the Low Country Ball, please.
I don't know that there's a big, huge story behind it, but I think that it's, people started, we've always boiled shrimp in the Low Country. That was always kind of the thing. And
Excuse me,
okay.
I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of Old Bay seasoning. And I'm going to add just a little bit of salt. It may not need it, but I'm going to add like a half a teaspoon because Old Bay contains a lot of salt. Let's see. The first ingredient is celery salt. So it's very salty, but it's so good. It is so good on your crabs or your shrimp or your fish. Anything that comes out of that water out there, this is delicious on. All right, so I'm gonna put my four little lonely potatoes in there.
Okay, can I tell you a little bit of the story real
Yes,
quick?
and all right, I've got 3 cloves. Just let me finish catching them up on this. All right, now that I got my glasses on, I see where I left some peeling on my garlic. I've got 3 cloves of garlic that I'm gonna add. Now some people put onion in their Low Country Ball. I don't. I make I would say the more traditional Low Country Ball. Would you not say, Teresa?
Oh yeah, and they got all kinds of
born
versions
on these
now.
waters. She was born on these waters and lived here her whole life. So tell us some facts, Teresa.
Well, they used to call this, actually, it's kind of a funny story. It was called frogmore stew.
Frogmore stew, that's exactly right.
And it was actually done in the military, and it was because they needed to do something in a one pot that feeded a ton of people.
That feeded a lot.
So
she and I both can't talk.
that feeded. I'm not. Oh
Feeded,
my Lord.
because it feeded a lot of folks, y'all.
So, long story short, that it was a really good dish.
Yes.
We are big shrimp. The Low Country. I'm trying to look at where it actually originated because I don't like it. St. Helena Island is where it actually.
Okay, I remember about the Frogmore stew because when I first moved over here, we would have fish fries on the inland part of the state. And when I came over here, I found that y'all did crab balls.
I was going to say
steamed oysters and Low Country balls. So when I saw a recipe for Frogmore stew, I thought, what is that? And then I realized it was just a different name. Oh, I'm gonna boil these potatoes until they're almost like half done. And then I'm gonna add our sausage because it's gonna flavor that pot so good. And then the corn, and naturally the last 3 minutes, the shrimp. Back to our low country ball or frogmore stew, whatever you prefer to call it. Our potatoes are like half done. And now I'm adding the corn and the sausage. So we're gonna cook that for 10, 15 minutes. And by the time that corn and sausage cooks, the potatoes should be cooked through and through. So we're getting close. What an easy dish this is. And of course, we save the best for last. I don't know, I think that sausage is pretty good. But our shrimp, we'll cook those for about 3 minutes. That looks like a head was left on one of them. No, it's just this little wiggler. But look at these beautiful wild Georgia shrimp. So beautiful. These are probably 2630s, which that means there's probably 26 to 30 shrimp in a pound. So you use different size shrimp for different dishes. Shrimp salad, you'd want that little teeny shrimp. For fried shrimp, I would want this size. For a low country ball, this size or larger. So 10 or 15 minutes, we're gonna put those shrimp in, and then we're gonna sit down and eat. All right, so the last succulent ingredient to go in is our shrimp. And I mean, I literally let them just turn shrimp color. Like, we're not far off. You know, like 3 minutes is about the limit. Now I'm gonna put the lid on that and let it get back to a ball. And quite often, like if we've been crabbing and we got a bunch of blue crab and we have a crowd over to eat them, we just spread out newspaper and we just dump those blue crab right onto the newspaper, and you stand out there and you enjoy the company of your friends and maybe a little cold beer and some of the most wonderful blue crab you ever put in your mouth. And sometimes we do the low country ball the same way, but quite often we'll just serve it right here on a cutting board, and I can take it to wherever the crowd is. But our crowd today is a crowd of 2 people, because we're making a little small version of low country ball. And I found some beautiful big clam shells at I can't remember, but right where I got those, Eddie, right where I would have found those. But they're beautiful. I like to put my low country ball in those too if we're doing it outside and have a big crowd. All right. Our shrimp are done. Don't you think it's been 3 minutes, Eddie?
Looks good.
Doesn't it look good? I just love my new cookware. Do you want to know why? Because I don't have to have a rag with it. My new handles, you can pick them up, pick up your pots, and you don't have to worry about getting burned. It's wonderful. All right. I'm going to drain those in the colander. Oh, I just got a facial. Nice facial. that's the way we roll. Ow! That was a hot potato. And we always sprinkle it at the end with a little more Old Bay. And that's it. That is it, y'all. And like I said, we serve this with melted butter, tartar sauce, and cocktail sauce. And you'll want to make sure that you don't overcook it, because I had one of the smaller potatoes tear up. He broke in two. And I do like for my potatoes to stay whole. So that's it. A Low Country ball for two. And you can also go to Paula Deen Creek House and get a Low Country ball for two as well, if you don't feel like doing it at home and you're in Savannah, Georgia. So this is a wonderful, wonderful traditional Low Country dish that everybody loves it, except those that are allergic to shrimp. And then not so much. Love and best dishes, y'all. Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.